So what's up guys, and welcome back. So we are going to continue with the series. Now we are at the model evaluation. In the previous video we did the model trainer, so we were able to train our model. So that's what we did in the previous video. So you can go through that and see how we were able to train the model itself. So after training your model, then obviously the next step is all about evaluating your model to see if your model is making accurate predictions. Okay, so basically that's what you're going to be doing, and that forms the session for today. So before we get started, again, please consider subscribing, and also you can also like the video, share, comment. We highly appreciate that. Okay, so let's get started with the model trainer. So up to now, I think now you've started to gain our workflow. So the workflow is not from the data ingestion, validation, transformation. I think by now you have conceptualized the workflow that we are taking. Okay, so as usual, so for the evaluation part, I'm just going to be going a little bit fast because I'm fully aware, I'm fully confident that you have been following through and you already understand the different workflow. So again, we're just starting with our entity. So this is the model evaluation configuration entity, and for this entity, mostly we are only confirming we are setting the file paths. Okay, so for the model evaluation, so let's set the file path for that. So for our model evaluation, this is the root directory. So our model evaluation, the test data path, you can see is this. The test target variable, you can see the y-test. So the test data path, x-test transform.joblib, the y-test for now doing the testing. Then we can also infer, we can also see the model .joblib for that. And we also included the metrics file. So for the metrics, this is a regression model. So we have the mean squared error, the R squared score, the mean absolute percentage error, all those. So all those metrics and their values will be creating a new file, the metrics file, the metrics.json. So it will be a JSON file, and from there you will be able to get the different evaluation metric scores for those evaluation metrics. Okay, so this is the config.yaml file. So we have set the paths for the different files. Then after the model evaluation, then after that we need to set the configuration manager. So for the configuration manager, so we start by importing the necessary files for that. Then we can just import the configuration manager. So this is the configuration manager for that. So remember the different file paths, the schema, params, and all those. Okay. Then we need just to import the configuration manager. It's the method for model evaluation. So whatever you're seeing here is just the same things that we have listed here. Okay. So this is the get model evaluation config. So we can also explain this. So for the model evaluation config, so this class is responsible for creating and returning the model evaluation config object. This object encapsulates the necessary configuration for the model evaluation, including the different paths that we are taking, the test data, the target variable, the model parameters, as well as the different metrics, as you can see. So this is the background for the selected code. So the get config, this is defined, which takes no argument and returns the model evaluation config as an object. Inside this, we have inside this method the configurations, the different parameters, the schemas, and are extracted from the class attribute self-config, as you can see above here. Then we create directories for those. Then the model evaluation config is instantiated with the extracted configurations, parameters, and the schema. The target column name, as you saw, the target column name, we are obtaining that from the schema name. Okay, this code snippet demonstrates how the configuration manager class manages and provides the access to the different configuration required for model evaluation. Okay, so you can, as I'm using tab 9. So tab 9 you can use to try to explain your code. So you can test your code, explain the code, if you want to document your code in terms of providing comments or the different comments or what your code explains. So you can just click on the document and you can see the different comments, and you can also see an explanation about the code. So for this case, you can see this method is responsible for creating and returning the model evaluation config objects. It retrieves the necessary configuration parameters and all that. So from here, you can just gain an understanding as to as how this model evaluation is working. So after this, we create the class that essentially does the required tasks. So from here, I'll just copy the code. So from here, just copy that. So I'll start by this is the class model evaluation. Okay, then we are doing our predictions. So remember, in the previous video we did the training. Now we are doing the predictions. So in terms of the predictions, we are using the XTest transformed. Then we are a ypred model.predict. So remember, model is in our artifacts. This is the model itself. So we're just recalling our model. So model.predict. Then XTest transformed. Okay. Then we are returning the predictions. So in terms of the model evaluation, we are using the ytest and the ypred. Okay. Then this can be the ytest and the ytest and y prediction. So ytest, you know where our ytest is located. So I think we have defined that in the config.yaml file. I think this one, ytest. So we have specified the path for our ytest. So we are just, ytest is considered as the ground truth. Okay, what is considered to be the correct value, because that is the value we have in terms of sampling and all that. That is the true value. Let me use that. Ytest is the true value, and ypred is the value that is predicted by our model. So in terms of the mean absolute error, we are trying to find the difference between the true value ytest and the predicted value. Mean squared error, we are just I think we square that difference. So by squaring, yeah, I think mean squared error, we are trying to square that difference. The R squared score is the test for variance. Then this is the root mean score, square root of the MSE. Then the mean absolute percentage error. So that is using the mean, and this is the formula for that. So all these modules, I think we have imported them. Yeah, these are the metrics for our model evaluation. So once we are done with the evaluation, these are the things that we are going to return under this method. And after that, remember, I said we are going to save our model evaluation, those parameters, the scores for the different evaluation metrics that we are using. Okay, so we have created a method save the results. So in the results, we are going to return the results, the ytest and the ypred. So this we need this one here. So these are the results: the mean squared error, MSE, R squared, RMSE, and MAPE. Then we are going to save the results in a local a folder. So we created a folder, this one, the metrics.json file. So this metric.json will contain the metric as well as the value for that metric. Okay, so that's for that. Then after that, we go to our pipeline. This is how we are going to execute the pipeline. So remember, when we talk about a pipeline, simply what we're just saying is we are defining the sequence of execution. Okay, so that's the importance of having a pipeline. Okay, so you can see the model evaluation is just very short. It's all about evaluating our model, seeing if our model is making correct or accurate predictions. Okay, so this one is for a regression experiment. I will also find an experiment where we are dealing with a classification example. I think it would be better if I tackle a regression example, see how the code looks like. Then we switch that to also a classification example, also to see how we are able to do that, so that I think at least you have an understanding of the both techniques. Okay, so this is that. So after this, let me just execute this. Let me execute this. So I'm just going to say Python. Then I'll just copy the relative path for this. Copy relative path. Then I'll just paste in the terminal. Then we execute. So the output will be we'll get a new file under the artifacts folder. That artifact and that folder will now contain the metric, the evaluation metric, and the value itself. So then from there we can see if our model is performing okay or we are having challenges with our model. Then from here, I think I'll do another regression problem. We are having another challenge in the target column. I think in this we don't need the target column. I think, let's see what error we're getting. Key error target column. Schema.name. Let's try to comment it out. So let's see if we're going to get evaluation.py. I think we're having a problem with the with that. So we are missing one position argument, the target column. So what we need to do, this one here, we also need to comment this out, target column. So let's you can run this file again. So let's save this. Then we execute this again. As I said, we need to get the model evaluation. Model evaluation config object has no attribute target column. Is something we need to model evaluation y test is target column. So we were getting an error. You can see that the config box object has no attribute target column. So you can see the column key error was target column. So initially it was a wrong spelling, so target column. So it's supposed to have an N. So I had forgotten to add that N. So you need to be very careful with those spellings. So for the target column, you can see we have now corrected that. So this is the target column. And in our model evaluation, also make sure that the target column are named correctly. So I think that was the error that was generating that error. So that was the mistake that was generating that error. So I think I have corrected that. So I'm going to execute this model trainer again. So let me use a new terminal. So new terminal, then model evaluation. Just copy the relative path. This one is Python. That's the path for that. So I'm going to execute this. So when we execute this after correcting that error, is that we have, under the artifacts folder, we need to get a new folder, and that folder will be model evaluation, and that model evaluation file will contain the metrics as well as their respective value. So from there it's when we are going to see if our model is performing is making correct predictions. Okay, so there for different we are using different evaluation metrics because different evaluation metrics have or they display or they show different type of information. So that's why I have listed almost all evaluation metrics that are necessary when we are dealing with a regression problem. So we have the mean squared error, the mean absolute error, the R squared, the RMSE, and the MAPE. So with these different evaluation metrics, you are able to, depending on your model, depending on what you will be looking in terms of evaluation metric, then from this you are able to see and gauge which one you will be using. So I think you can now see that it's now working. So we corrected that error. So we corrected that error. So you can see now we are saving our results in a metrics.json file. So in the model evaluation, we are having the metrics.json file. And in this file, you can now see the different evaluation metrics. You can see for the mean absolute error, 1.8, mean squared error, 96. For the R squared, we are getting a value of 0.99. Root mean square is about 9.8, and the mean squared error, mean absolute percentage error is about 5% deviation in terms of our predictions. So you can now see that how we started our model. So if we go to how we were building our model, so you can see under the model training, let it just load. So you can see, so I want to compare what we got from building our model, okay, in a Jupyter notebook or something like that, and compare that with what we are getting when we look at our evaluation metrics in the JSON file. So let me see. Let's see if you can get that comparison and see if you are way off or close. Okay. So let's just wait for it to load. Python this electricity prediction. So don't know why it's taking some time, but this is the file itself. I don't know why it's taking some time. Huh? Anyway, if you go to the first, I think it's the first video. If not the first, I think it's the second video before the data ingestion component. Before we did the data ingestion component, I showed you how these evaluation metrics are working. Oh, we are getting it. So let me just do this. So I'm most concerned about the decision tree. let's go to that of the decision tree. So this is the decision tree. So you can see we are getting a mean absolute error of about 1.83. So when you go to our metrics.json file, you can see it's about 1.85. So we are not badly off. So you can see R squared of 0.999, 0.999. So there we are almost the same. For the MAPE 0.054, here we are getting 0.054. We're almost the same. So mean squared error is about 94. Here it's about 96. So there's a slight increase. Here we're getting an RMSE of 9.73. Here we're getting an RMSE of 9.81. I think there's a slight deviation in those. So you can see there's a slight deviation in our metrics compared to how we build a model, but maybe we can say that that is negligible. Okay, it's insignificant. You're almost getting the same values for that. Okay, so you need to also confirm and make sure that after you have done your a model evaluation, you're almost getting the same values as the way you are getting during the building the model itself. Okay, so I think that's it for the model trainer. I think you're now having an understanding. If you're going to build your any project, then this is how you can do it. So we started, I remember where we started with building a model. Then from there we went to the data ingestion, data transformation, model trainer, and model evaluation. So before we close this chapter, let's convert this to modular coding first. Okay, so for the modular coding, let's start with the entity. So evaluation metric. I'll just copy the code for the entity. So this is our entity. So just go to the entity configuration entity and just paste it here. So this one is for model evaluation. Model evaluation, that's the entity. So I can close this. The metrics.json file. Yeah, this one schema, we updated our schema. So our schema was having a problem it was just a spelling mistake in terms of target column, the one that we are using in the schema and the one that we're using in our code itself. So after entity, we go to the configuration component. So configuration, and under the configuration, we are going to copy this. This one is already there. So we're just going to copy the data get model evaluation config. So configuration, then after this, we copy this. Ensure indentation is correct. Then model evaluation config. And just copy this, and you can add it here. So just add another comma, then add that. So model evaluation config. So everything, I think everything is okay. Everything is okay. So we can save that. So that's the config. After that, we go to the component. So the component section, under the components, we can create, so component, let me create a new file. This file is component number 4, so component number 5. That is all about model evaluation. So model evaluation.py, that's component number 5. So for the component, I'll copy all this up to and before the pipeline itself. So model evaluation, I'll just paste this here. Then you have to make sure everything is in place. Everything is in place. Are we missing anything? We are missing the path and save JSON. So path and save JSON. So we need to save JSON, this one here. So make sure to add this. Then model evaluation config. Also missing the model evaluation config. Make sure to include that. So under the components, that will be found in our entity. So from entity, we're able to import the model evaluation config, this one. So from SRC entity, this is supposed to be configuration entity. I'm not wrong, config entity, that's okay. Anything that you're missing? Path. So from pathlib, import path. So if you import path, so I think save JSON, we have it. Then path, we have it, so no problem. Any other thing? I think no. So we can just save this. So that was all about our model trainer. So the next step is about, so we have updated our components, if I'm not wrong. So we have updated the component. The next step is about the pipeline. So we go to our pipeline. So in the pipelines, I'm going to add a new folder. And this is pipeline number 5. This pipeline we are going to add, so model trainer, we are going to add, that is model evaluation. So model evaluation.py. So we add, I'll just copy this, Control Alt, Control C. So I'll just copy this, and then we will just make some few changes. So in our pipeline, so that is the model evaluation pipeline. So configuration manager, we need it. We don't need, we don't need the data transformation. Model trainer. So this one, I think this one should be 05. Then instead of components number, model evaluation. Model evaluation. Then instead of model trainer, we need model evaluation. Model evaluation. Then pipeline name, model evaluation. So model evaluation pipeline. So this one is model evaluation pipeline. I think it's okay. So class model evaluation pipeline. That is okay. Then we need to define our pipeline. So you can just go back to our pipeline, this one here. So you can just copy this. This is our pipeline. So this is the pipeline. And remember, joblib, so we need to import joblib. And we also import pandas as PD. So import pandas as PD, that's okay. Model evaluation, so for model evaluation, we also need that. So do we need data transformation actually? No. This is a model train. No, this is model. There's something we have. There's something that we have. I'll just go for the model trainer. It's something that I've done wrong. So we'll just go to model trainer. I think I'll just copy everything in this code. Copy everything. Then in the model trainer, this is supposed to be a model evaluation. Then this is supposed to be our model trainer pipeline. Model evaluation. There are some things I've included here that they're not supposed to be here. It's supposed to be our model trainer. So just close this. So model evaluation, we need to go back, model evaluation. So this is what we need. Control C, model evaluation. Then we need to copy everything here, not model trainer. So we have job lib. So we have job lib. So we're going to import job lib. Then now we are just going to import PD. No, import is supposed to be import pandas, yeah? Import pandas as PD. Any other thing? So model evaluation pipeline. Supposed to be model evaluation pipeline. Yeah. Is there anything that we are missing? Here you can say something like that, or we can return evaluation metric results. So in the pipeline .main logging info pipeline name, no problem, started. Then model evaluation pipeline. Then pipeline main evaluation pipeline terminated successfully. Logging exception as E, that's okay. So is there anything that we are missing? Let's confirm. Configuration manager, model evaluation pipeline. Okay, so that's okay. Control save. So that's the evaluation. Then we go to the main.py. So model trainer supposed to be model evaluation component, model evaluation component name, started. Instead of model this one, we need to change model evaluation pipeline in our main.py model evaluation pipeline. Then we need to import that module here. So we can just copy. Okay, so again from src dot electricity bill dot pipelines dot pip number 5 model evaluation trainer, import model evaluation pipeline. So everything should end with the pipeline, put logging and all that. So logging is okay. Evaluation component is model trainer, evaluation, transformation, validation, ingestion. Anything that we are missing out? Let's confirm. I think we are okay at the moment. Then you can then run the main.py. So Python main.py. So let's execute the main.py. So with the main.py, you are able to execute. You have a single point where you can execute all your files. Okay, but for the research, so this research is all about experimentation. So you are trying to experiment the different components. Then when you are converting those to modular coding, you're trying to separate those, combine the different sections together, then have a single point, the main.py, where you can just execute everything. So when you see your code running like this, then just understand that you have done something wonderful. Okay, this is the dream of the different machine learning engineers or the MLOps engineers. When you execute your code like this and you see that every component is running in sync, then model evaluation component started. model evaluation component terminated successfully. So let's try something. Let's delete the artifacts folder and let us delete the logs folder. Okay? And then let us execute this code. Let me open a new terminal and let us execute this code from here. So Python main.py, just to be sure that everything is okay. So let's see. We need to get the same thing that we are getting in a consistent manner. Then that will tell us that everything now everything is running successfully. So we in a component, so you can see where we started by data ingestion. So this is the metadata for that. Then data validation, okay, data transformation, okay, model trainer, model evaluation. Then when you go to our artifacts folder, you can see the different artifacts and the objects themselves. Okay, model evaluation, model trainer. So I think your code is up to now. I think the code is running successfully. Okay, so we started with the different components. So we started building each component after component after the other. Then we have merged those components together into something like a single file in the src folder. So you see this src folder. So if you want to try this code, or if you want to share with someone else, then you can just share this src folder, because this folder contains the source code for your model itself. Okay, so even if we are going to use the Docker and all that, we'll be using that while targeting the src folder, because it contains everything in there. Okay, so I think everything is running okay. You can be happy for yourself. Then we can just add this to our GitHub. So git commit, so git commit -m. So we can say model evaluation complete. So you can just CLS, just clear the screen. So git add, then git commit, so -m model trainer complete. So that's okay. Then that's the commit. So git push -u origin main. Again, that is working. That's okay. You can see it's working okay. So we can go back to our code. And go back to our, let's refresh. So when you refresh, you will see the data, model trainer, model evaluation. So this is the central repository. So you can clone this folder and then you can execute it in your local machine. So you can see everything is okay for the pipelines. When you look at the components, you can see the different components. Okay, so what we are remaining with is building the prediction pipeline. So in the next session, we'll build the prediction pipeline, and after the prediction pipeline, we are going to build. We are going to use. We are going to build a web application. Yeah. So after the prediction pipeline, we build a web application, and in this application, it will be now at this point, at the point where we build the web application. This is the point where the user will now be able to interact with the model itself. So this is just the back end stuff. So that will be the front end application. With that application, the user will now input data. Then from there, the user is able to get an output. The output will be in form of a prediction of the monthly electricity bills. Okay, so that will be the next session after this. Then we look at deploying our model, containerizing our model, uh, maybe using things like the Kubernetes, things like Kubeflow, DVC if you get time for that, MLflow again. So we'll see how we can integrate those tools up to this point. Okay. So once again, I'm very grateful for your time, for taking time to watch this. I'll appreciate if you subscribe to the channel, hit that notification bell so that you never miss any of our video updates. You can also like this video, share it with your friends so that they can fast track their learning process in machine learning. With that said, enough said. So take time, go through this code, see if you can internalize them, and see. The goal is to just guess the concepts, okay, so that you can apply the different concepts. You can apply the same concept, or just change or tweak a little bit of things here and there to ensure that your model is running successfully. So I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye.